Hey, hello there, Crowd Foundation. I'm Gil Melo, and welcome to another Super Backer, a segment where I talk about games that I just backed or that are coming out on Kickstarter that I'm very excited about. And today, we'll take a look at a game called Masters of Gettown. So the idea is that in the future, human beings will have developed different powers, different abilities. And as the power struggle happens, they decide to come once a year to the arena of Gettown and fight against each other to discover who is going to rule for the next coming year. Each player will receive a character board with a main character ability, a unique charge gain, and a character upgrade ability. You also going to have a set of dice so you can keep track of your health. So you have a start point health, so each player will just place the dice according to their health and then use those dice to keep track of that. You're also going to get your fighting dice, a 2 large one and a smaller one. The game starts by all the players taking their smaller hit dice. It's the one with the little lightning bolt on it. And they're all going to throw the dice at the same time into the arena. Now it's important that you have to hit one of the walls or another dice for your throw to be valid. If your dice bounce off of the arena, you collect the die and then put next to your arena, and it's only going to be worth 1 hit point at that point. In this scenario, you can see that the green die landed totally on the blue area, which will add 1 hit point to the 4, making it a 5, while red and yellow landed on the center area, which you would neither add or subtract points from. Meanwhile, the blue die landed on the red area, turning that die into a 1, because it takes a penalty from being on the red area. The player with the highest scores start the game. Now, in case of a tie like this, we have red with 5, and then green with 4 plus 1, 5. They both will take their large die, one of their large die, and throw it to the arena, while all the other players will take their dice out. So they will both throw their dice in. Now remember, you can strike and change other people's dice. So let's say red can try to knock green out of blue so it diminishes the score. And the sum of both dice will be the final score. So now you have green with 5 plus 2 minus 1. That makes 6, while red has 7, so red is the starter player. So as the attacker, you're going to throw your ability dice. Now, as you remember, the ability dice has a little lightning bolt in there. On the beginning of the game, to decide who is the attacker, that is worth 3. So we'll have 3 pips in there on the final production. But once that is done, when you throw your dice and it lands on that little lightning bolt in there, it activates your player ability. So different players will have different abilities that you can use either to do your main character ability or your charge gain ability. So the red die goes first, and then on clockwise, all the players will try to throw their dice and try to get on the better areas. So after all the dice are thrown, you see whoever gains their abilities, and then the attacker will choose one of the players to fight against. So let's say he will decide that he wants to play against blue, so green and yellow will take their dice off, and then they will take their next dice and throw in, and keep throwing until you figure out what all the hits are. Just left. There you go, almost successful. Once all this is done, then you're going to see how many hits each one took. So the attacker will have 3, 4, 5, and in this case it's not all the way, so it's still black, so that's going to be a 10 against blue, which has 3 minus 3 stays. It needs to cross all the way the line, so this will be 3, and those will be 3 and 3 because they take a penalty, so it'll be 9. So in this case, the blue player would take 1 hit point, and then it would lose 1 health. But during the game, there are a few things that you have to look at. If any players throw 2 dice with exactly the same number, they will get charges on their board, and the charge goes down here. And once you have fully charged, you can take advantage of whatever ability is giving you there on the charging area. In this case, Feed the Flames While fully charged at the start of each of your turn attacks, gain HP equal to the number of fire tokens you have. So different abilities that will increase the mitigations that you can do during the game to get more health or give more damage to other players. In case you get a triple dice, then you will receive like 3 charges. So basically 1 charge per every die you roll at that number, as long as you have 2 or 3 dice with the same number. As the attacker, if you roll a 6 and your opponent rolls a 1, that is basically a critical hit. So the opponent will take their dice out and you roll the rest of your die, and you're gonna give that much damage as to mitigating with whatever your dice landed, and that's how much damage you're gonna give to the defender. Now, on the other hand, if you as the attacker roll a 1 and any of your opponents roll a 6, it becomes a counterattack. So you have to retrieve your die, and then all the other players will throw a dice, and you throw your dice last to see how much you can defend. So then you take the amount of damage minus the number of the die that you roll. You can play it at advanced mode as well. In the advanced mode, you can get different attacks. Those attacks will give you different things that you can use to attack other players or mitigate your dice roll. They will have a charging system, the same as you would have on your charger board. If at any point you lose all your health, you're out of the game. And that's how you battle at the Masters of Gettown. So as you can see, even being a prototype, they did an amazing job with the arena. It's not difficult at all to put together. I mean, there was a little bit of, getting used to moving the parts around until you get everything together. But once you have the arena assembled, it's very, very easy. One of the things that I enjoyed a lot in this game is the asymmetrical powers. So it becomes more than just throwing dice in a bowl. It becomes an actual game, like where you have to really think about it, what you're going to do, and you have different ways to mitigate your dice rolls. I like the idea that there's several boards, so you can play different games with different groups and having different goals into the game. So the way this was constructed, as you saw before, you just slide each one of the boards in between the 2 plexiglass they use for the arena, which, by the way, this looks amazing for a dice game. Like, they did an excellent job with the plexiglass. I love how we have fun playing the dice. I would advise, if you ever get that game, or maybe they can do as a add-on or a stretch go, having a Lazy Susan, which is a disc that will flip this around, so instead of you move around the table, you can just, kind of spin the game around, and that's how we played our game, so it made it so much easier. I think this is really an extra step for games with dice throw and, striking dice and moving dice around. I think this is a really good job. I think it's worth to take a look at. I recommend it.